Hey there guys, Shane here from Fugatech 3D Printing, and today we're going to check out some enabled PLA. Welcome back guys. So as right off the bat you can see this is different than my normal filament reviews, as I have already printed with this before I've done my little box unboxing. I only did that because I bought this filament off of WOOT quite a long time ago, and because I ordered 3 different colors, I didn't get 3 different colors. I have 2 blue and a green. And because I ordered 3 different colors and I didn't receive that, WOOT refunded me for 2 of the rolls. So I ended up paying very little money for 3 rolls of filament. Now I wish I could say that all of these performed very well, but I can't. I did have 1 roll perform moderately well, 1 roll that just was horrible, and another roll that's brand new here that I have not used yet. So first let's talk about the spool real quick and the box that it comes in. And it comes in a very simple brown box. It has their label stuck on here. It says here that it is a 1.5 millimeter filament. It is 1 kilogram. The gross weight I can't see because sticker's in the way. Can't see the tolerance. And it says that it is blue. It comes shrink wrapped in here. I'm not going to open this one up right now because I don't need to. But one interesting thing to note inside the bag with the filament and the Deskment pack is this itty bitty little enabled flashlight, which is funny. Also because it doesn't come with those little goofy batteries. I think this takes like the LRV 44s or LR 44s, or those little tiny button batteries are. It takes those. Well, I can't even get those here, and I think they're kind of expensive too for what they are. So it's a nice little kind of swag gesture that they have it in there, but I can't use it. So it's kind of a waste for me. I now have 3 of them. Well, there's 1 in here and I have 2 sitting on the desk just waiting to be used for something. Okay, so let's talk about the filament and what I did. So as you can see here, this green, there are a lot of issues here. Like it eventually just totally went kaput. Now I thought I could blame the CR10 for this, as this was printed in 1 print on the CR10. And it started printing out the first probably 50 or 100 layers were actually great layers. There were no issues anywhere with any of that. And most of the neck of this violin came out really well. Now I was printing this for Halloween for my daughter, and I had, wasn't down here for like 2 days. This took almost 2 days to print. And then when I did come down, I ended up stopping it just because the sheer under extrusion that was going on. And I honestly still cannot tell 100% what caused this, but it does seem to be like a ton of inconsistencies in this roll in particular. I did not have this issue with the blue, which we'll talk about in a moment, but this spool just was bad. I mean, it just was a horrible spool, and honestly ended up being free to me. But I just honestly cannot get over at how well it was printing for the first hour or 2 that I was down here with this, and then for how bad it was a day later. As I'm popping out some of this support that's built into the model, it's fantastic support. And everything is just where it should be, and everything comes off just how it should on these first few layers. But again, once it got going, it just totally blew up in my face. So I'm pretty upset about the green roll. That was a total wash. Don't get that. Okay, now for the blue roll, I did this ginormous print, and I want to say that this took 20 hours or so with a ton of support that was in here. This is for the CR10 control box and sits on there, and it has a spool. You can snap this right here onto the front. I should say a spool holder, and you snap this on the front. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I did like how everything was all combined. On this side, there are a ton of different notches and hangers here for all the tools that come with the CR10. Another great thing to have with it. Then you have this tray and this hole for a glue stick. Again, another great thing to have right with your 3D printer. So I was really liking the model for that fact. And then here in the back, it gets better, trust me. There is a spot here for a Raspberry Pi 3. That's where the model kind of sucks, because I had to put support in there, and it took me like an hour to dig support out of here. Even though I did custom support here and there, still took quite a long time. And then it has this little cover here that kind of snaps on but kind of doesn't. I'm not really sure how it's supposed to get on there properly because it doesn't really work well for me. Yeah, I don't know. That just, I don't know, that just sucks. So, my Raspberry Pi 3 is sadly in use. I want to try to slide it in there. But the model is a very unique look into what you can print for your 3D printer, so I did like that. One thing that did screw up with the model is there is a humongous layer shift right here, and that was from the CR10 shifting on its Y-axis, and it was a good 1.5 millimeter shift. And I did notice it till we were mostly done. I was like, you know what? I've already used a ton of the filament. Might as well just keep going because the filament at this point was basically free. So there was no reason to stop it. I just wanted to see how it would finish out. So it came out okay. And then here I have the blue in a vase, but the vase failed. There definitely was some under extrusion going on. So this was one of those filaments that when you print a vase, you need to up your extrusion multiplier. Very few filaments I have found are that way. This enabled PLA is one of them. So I would knock your extrusion multiplier up by 0.2, 0.3 in order to make sure that you have a proper extrusion for a vase mode, especially one that has these crazy sharp turns. It's not even that sharp, but just the angle of it is fairly steep. And it really needs that extra extrusion to make sure that all the layers actually bond together, because clearly it did not. So a while back you guys saw my practical prints video and I featured this pocket hole jig that I printed off of Thingiverse. Did not create this, but then I did not have the brass fittings, but now I do. So these are guide tubes, make sure you don't chew up the plastic to get in there, and you just set this down on your piece of wood, you clamp it down, drill your holes in here, and there you have some pocket holes drilled in. It did require support, but it actually came out the best model that I had. There were no under extrusions anywhere. Honestly, no issues at all. This was printed on the Fugatech 2020 i3 with, again, no issues whatsoever. It has a nice kind of gloss to the top, but a kind of a gloss here on the side and a matte bottom because this was printed on the Fugatech BuildTack surface. But yeah, I mean, this came out great. It's with 50% infill. I need it to be nice and strong so that when you're drilling it, you don't have to worry about anything breaking or it twisting on you. But yeah, so this actually came out really well. So then I have two benchies here, and these were from when I was originally testing out the CR10, trying to hone in my retraction settings. And there is a little bit of stringing, and again, that is 100% from retraction. I just didn't have the CR10 fully honed in by then. But other than that, all the layers, you know, fully filled in. There was no under extruded layers anywhere on these. A little bit of zitting, again, from the retraction not being set up. And the first layer was less than ideal, but it did work out okay. But again, I wanted to see here if even on a small part, did I have any under extrusion issues, which on these I did not. And here's another really small part. As you can see on my hand, this is very small. This is like the Elvin Archer STL, something like that. Fairly detailed print, printed on the CR10. And that's her hair came out pretty well. Her back, the quiver, all of the arrows here. And you can even see how they are raggedy edges, and they're supposed to be that way apparently. But the ears, really, really well. It did need a little bit of support underneath this arm, and on this one I didn't think it needed any support, but yeah, it should have had a little bit. And the hair here at the bottom completely failed. That's because of the printer. But again, looking at this at a 0.1 millimeter layer height, there are no under extruded lines. So this blue roll filament was much better than the green roll. Now it might not seem I have a lot of prints here. This green was a good 3/4 of the roll, and I ended up trying a few other test prints out and all of them were failing. So clearly that roll was just trash. That just got thrown rest away. The blue, however, I was using for prototyping on quite a bit of things, and I think all of those original prototypes are now gone. I then eventually printed it in a higher quality PLA in the color that I wanted for the printer. I use orange for the CR10, I use a different orange for the G-Tech. I've used yellow and orange for the FT5. I have yellow on the Monoprice Select Mini, and I'm using red and gray on the Fugatech 2020 i3. So I print different colors for different printers just because, I don't know, I can. But either way, again, I picked this up on WOOT.com for a stupid cheap price. I believe it was $10 a roll. Why not try it out? It sold out in, I think, about an hour. I barely was able to get my rolls in. They had I think they had 3 or 4 different colors, but you can only order 3 rolls at a time. I did order 3 different colors. I ended up getting 2 blue, so 2 rolls were refunded back to me. I only paid $10 for 3 kilograms of filament. That's not bad, but still, if it doesn't even work, it's kind of useless. So I'd like to say go out and get this filament, but if you see it on sale and you want something really, really cheap and you're willing to take a gamble, by all means, purchase it. If you don't want to take a gamble on this filament, even if it ever comes back up for sale again, just bypass it. $10 is a ridiculously cheap price. You get what you pay for 99% of the time when it comes to filaments. And I know people have really good results out of cheap filament. The Fun Flag PLA that I reviewed a long time ago was $7.99 a roll. That was the cheapest ever. And that came out beautifully. That wasn't sale price, that was the price of the filament. That came out great. This stuff, again, if you want cheap filament and you're willing to gamble, go ahead and buy it. If you don't want to gamble, keep on going and have a good time. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video and if you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Talk in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. I reply to every comment, so please make sure you comment down below. So if you guys want to support me, best thing to do, hit that subscribe button. There's a bell icon right beside it. Go ahead and give that a click. That way you get an email notification anytime I upload new content, and that way you can stay up to date with everything that comes out with me. If you want to support me financially, down below is me a Patreon link. Donate me $1 more. I greatly appreciate current Patreons. You guys are awesome. The funds I receive via Patreon fund filament reviews just like this. I used Patreon money to buy this as I said I would, and I'm reviewing it on the channel. So I thank you guys for your patronage. If you want to support me without spending your money, down below, lots of affiliate links. Go ahead, add those to your bookmarks, do your daily shopping with those. I get a little slice of anything that you buy. Christmas is on its way, so I appreciate anything you guys that do for me, even if it is just to watch this video. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, happy printing.